Welcome to Up, and Away, the restaurant marketing podcast, saving the world from bad marketing, brought to you by Qubriux, the all-in-one platform for loyalty and customer engagement. I'm RevCio and Arun, hospitality marketing consultant, tech evangelist, content creator, and CMO at Huddle House in New Jersey, and co-founder of Handcraft Burgers and Brew in New York City. And with me is my co-host, Arun, who is the founder and CEO of Qubriux. He's a tech veteran with over 2 decades of experience. For Qubriux, he was the principal data scientist and architect for developing Starbucks' personalized customer engagement platform. He literally turns data into dollars. Now, today we're going to talk about a local playbook and how franchisees and local restaurants can win with their neighborhood market. Now, normally we go into a big framing section here, and we did write one, but I'm just not going to read it. I'm not going to go into it because I really want to go right to who we have on the show and why. To help us match that, this is Julie Wade. She is an incredible marketer. Julie is the person I call when I get stuck, and that's almost admitting to people like, wait a minute, Rev, there are times you don't know what to do. Yes, there are lots of times I don't know what to do, and I've called Julie for years. Julie is one of the best marketers in the business. She understands branding, she understands mechanics, she understands franchisee marketing. She really has a ton of experience in figuring out how to be better at marketing, whether it's at the store level or at the franchise level. And so, Julie, I am super excited to have you on the show. You have lots of experience. Toziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Huddle House, who I was emailing with yesterday, Blockbuster Video. I mean, like, what have you not done, really?
Well, there's a lot of things out there, Rev, but thank you very much. I appreciate the setup. That's giving me an awful lot of credit, and I appreciate that.
It is all earned. Okay, I want to go right into this. Let's talk about local store marketing. Um, what would you say are 3 or 4 like sort of channels that are okay for the store to be in charge of? And what are 3 or 4 channels that they should not have their fingers on?
Well, one of the first things they can have their hands on directly is their own Facebook page. They definitely need to add that local content. Um, so another channel that they should have is, being able to go out and do local things in their community. They should have a support system. Yeah, if they're a franchise model, they should have some way to have support for, branded items that they can take out, that they're not having to create their own materials that are, maybe not to spec, not to the brand standards. So if you're the franchisor, please make sure that you're creating that type of content that your franchise system can take out and really represent your brand in a very professional and top-notch way, best of class way that you want them to show off your brand when they're going out into the community. And then another channel, they probably need to have some kind of control over their own third party promotions and be able to do, pull those levers themselves. There will be some times that from a brand wide standard, you may want to take advantage of some of the larger promotions that, DoorDash or Uber Eats may offer from time to time. Yeah, they're doing their national campaigns and they want to do that for everybody. But from a local store standpoint, they need to be able to do some things if they want to do, free delivery from time to time, or maybe a buy one, get one in their own market. They need to be able to do those on their own. So those are definitely 3 things that I would say that they need to be able to have control of. Things that they don't need to touch. I'm a very big proponent of having all of the Google pages controlled centrally. I think that's pretty important. Sometimes when some local folks can kind of go in and tweak those, it just makes more sense to have your Google My Business pages controlled centrally so that they're a little more uniform and tightened up. I know a lot of that, of course, is user generated content. AI is taking those things. I don't know if you've noticed, Rev, but in the brands I've worked with, the AI can kind of take those things wonky. So you need to have somebody that's having a constant eye on those pages to make sure that they are staying within brand standards, how you want it to be represented. So I would definitely make sure that somebody at the brand level is taking care of that. Any of your social channels that you want to have brand level control over, really you need to have like one Twitter feed, probably one TikTok, one YouTube page, things like that from a brand level. You don't need to have, if you have 50 locations, you don't need to have 50 TikTok channels out there. You don't need to have 50 Twitter feed or X feeds or 50 YouTube pages, things like that. Just muddle the brand, dilute it.
Amen. What about CRM? Should a local store be sending their own emails, texts, rewards?
I think they should, but through a through the brand and not on their own. Um, I know that there's a lot of local folks that would like to have, they're like, give me my customers. I want to be able to send messages to my customers. Well, great, that's fine. You have guests, and depending on how your CRM is set up, it may be that the customers belong to everybody. It's not just your customers that come to your locations. It may be that the way that the CRM is set up, that once a guest dines at one location, whether, that it may be that they're a guest now on a list at every single location they've ever dined at. So if you're a location in Denver, Colorado, but they've also dined at a location in Palo Alto, California, now they're on both lists. So you say, I want my guest. Well, they're also your guest, but they're somebody else's as well. So you can do that, but hopefully everybody's brand is set up in a way that you can do that through a centralized location and have one person that is, or one entity at least, that's creating the content, so it all is very very uniform. It all looks the same, so that they're getting this local email and it's very localized to where they are, but yet it still looks like the brand. It doesn't look like something that's completely out of left field and different from anything else that they're getting.
Amen. You just gave me an idea. I'm going to start sending out our emails at Salad House. We're going to do them to the location, and it's going to say good morning from the location.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I want to talk about content on Facebook pages. Now, let's be clear. There's a brand page and there's a location page. You're talking about the location page, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Meaning, like,
Well, like, I've used in multiple brands the parent-child relationship for Facebook. So you have a brand level page and then you have the individual pages underneath it. And the parent page, the brand level page, when you post something on that page, it also gets pushed to the child pages. So I've always deployed the strategy where you push it to the content down roughly 3 times a week. So you're getting regular content on the child pages. So if it's your restaurant in Brooklyn or in New Jersey or wherever, they're getting regular content, but it's going to be that brand level content. So it's not going to be, what's happening in your neighborhood. But then it's going to be up to the local folks to go back in on those off days. If you're pushing brand level content 3 days a week, so that leaves you 4 days to go back in and say, okay, what are we going to talk about this week that's happening local in my restaurant? And I've always worked with local operators. They're like, oh, I'm going to create this new something that we're going to put in. And, we're going to do this new, what new promotion can we do, or what new tactic can we come up with? And I'm like, well, what have you done to really double down on the things that are already happening in your restaurant? When was the last time that you put something on your local Facebook page that was highlighting something that's already happening, maybe from the brand level perspective, or a menu item that's popular, or somebody that's in your restaurant frequently, highlighting a guest that's there all the time, or one of your employees that got promoted, or I mean, there's a ton of local content. You just have to put on your thinking cap and kind of think about it in a different way and hunt for it a little bit. And then once you kind of think about it in that way, there's stories abundantly. You just have to kind of retool yourself to think about what might be interesting to your local viewers.
What percentage of the customers engage in social media? And among, let's say, email, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which channel has got the maximum engagement?
Well, it depends on who your target guest is, because each channel has a different type of guest that it reaches out to. Um, if you're using SMS, then that's probably going to resonate with a completely different type of guest than email or Facebook is. The typical wisdom right now about Facebook is, oh, it's old, it's dying, it's an older crowd, nobody goes on Facebook anymore. But still, everybody has a Facebook account. They may not post on it, but most people have a Facebook account. And when they're looking for hours of operation for something, or they're looking to see, hey, is my local restaurant closed? We just had a big storm that came through and the power's out everywhere. I need to look to see. That's the first place they're going to go. Um, so it really just depends on what your target is. TikTok, that's obviously going to skew a lot younger, even though the older demographic is coming into that now. There's more and more people closer to my age that are getting on TikTok. Um, and some of those vanity metrics that have been really important in the past, like number of followers, it used to be the more followers you have, the more important your page is, and it was all about getting the followers. Now it's all about views. So it's not so much followers, but how much have people engaged with your content? Has your Instagram post, um, did it get the views? Did it get the comments? Did it get the likes? Same thing with your TikTok, that kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. And will you absolutely say that not typically all restaurants need to be on Facebook, or in general in social media, or other cases like, no, there's not enough ROI? Is that an argument?
Well, I don't think you need to put dollars into every channel all the time, but I think you need to put dollars into Meta pretty much all the time. And whether that fluctuates between Facebook or Instagram, their algorithm will probably help allocate that where it needs to be based on your target and what your particular goals are. So you can go into the Meta Ad Manager and put in what you're looking to do, and then it will put your ads where they need to be. But I'm a big believer that you need to have, and it's not too much money. I mean, it could be like $10 a day per restaurant. In Google and in Meta, and just have that constant drumbeat of ads just to get you some kind of visibility into into the Google search pack, and then also have something on Meta all the time so that you're showing up in people's feeds, because for a business, it is pay to play in all those channels now, unfortunately. It's not like it was 10 years ago. And a lot of local operators and franchisees if they were around the business 10 years ago, they're still living in that time of, oh, I can just put something on social media and that's going to solve everything. Yes and no. Yes, you want to have that constant local presence on there more as a reference point for things, not so much that I know that everybody in my market is going to see this post that I'm putting up on Thursday. Um, but you've got to have something on there that is an ad, a purchase, because otherwise your content is just, you may have 2 or 3% of your audience at most that is ever going to see your content.
I tell
Sure.
operators all the time, if you absolutely need people to see the content, you should pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Meta and Google are businesses. They are smart people. They have figured out very quickly how to make us all come to the table with our pocketbooks. And I mean, sad for us as brands that that's what we have to do, but that's the business we're in. We're here to market, and we have to pay for it.
Hey man, I'm grateful they exist. I'd rather buy digital ads than a billboard. Um,
Those work too, though. Don't discount those. They can work too if they're correctly placed and in the right spot.
I didn't say they didn't work. I said I prefer.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can get into that in a second. All right. So from a franchisor to franchisee, or owner to local store perspective, um, how do you enable a store to be able to have good digital ads? Like, are you creating playbooks? Are you running the program internally? Do you advocate for an agency? Like, how would you advise somebody make sure that the store has the ability to run digital ads that are on brand, correct, and going to work?
Yeah, there's several ways you can tackle that. A digital agency is a great way to do it. That's probably one of the more expensive ways to do it, but if your brand is well funded and you can do that, go for it. A less expensive way that I've used in the past is one of the services we have found vocalized to be very effective. They're not particularly built for the restaurant business right now. They were really built, I think, more for realtors. But it's a platform that you purchase access to the platform, and then you can create pretty much these campaigns. And for a fairly nominal fee, the AI will go in, and it's kind of like Meta, and that you tell it what your target market is, and you tell it what your goals are, you give it a budget, and then it purchases ads across all the platforms, though. It doesn't just stay in Meta or in Google. And it runs all kinds of ads, and it has, can't remember exactly what they call it, I think a blueprint. And it's got ads of all sizes, all configurations. And of course, you create these, and it can be branding ads, it can be for an LTO, it can be grand openings, it can be, whatever campaign you need to come up with. And the franchisee can go in and say, okay, I want this campaign, I want this target market, I'm looking at this geographic range, 3-mile radius around my store, 5-mile, 10-mile, whatever I'm looking at. Here's my daily budget. I want it to run for this length of time. Go. And it's a fairly easy system for somebody. I mean, I wouldn't let not that I wouldn't let, but I wouldn't recommend that a franchisee with zero marketing knowledge do it. But if a franchisee has somebody on their staff that is doing their local marketing, then they can do that. And I've had local franchisees that have facilitated the platform themselves. I've also had in the office, central office, we have done it for franchisees as well. Yeah, they kind of give us the parameters, but that's a great way to have a local message, or the brand wide message, really good content, then localized with the store address and hours and whatever, um, sent in a local fashion to their target market.
So the high level answer here is yes, make it easy for the franchisee in
Oh
store.
yeah,
Give them a button to push, right?
yeah. I mean, there's several ways to do that. Um, yeah, there you do need to make it easy to do that with some kind of, and you could do it as old school as just having a, um, you can have an asset management library that has all of the digital ads in there, and just say, here, take them and go. And if you have a fairly sophisticated franchisee system, then they can take them and run with that. But it's on the brand to provide those assets and make sure that they're creating the things that the franchisees need, and they're not just saying, "Okay, y'all have fun, go create your own stuff," because that will end badly for everybody.
Amen. I know from my own purview at Salad House and from working with you is that I actually don't want my franchisees doing marketing. I want them focused on operations. Like I want the store clean. I want the guests served. I want order accuracy at high. I want the team to enjoy working there. Like if I can give them more time to do that and less time to focus on marketing, I think that's a better place. But that's not to say that marketing isn't important. It's vastly important. But my idea is how do I reduce their workload? Like how to make it easy to make marketing happen. You can go deep on this, but you've told me many times you've had trouble making sure that marketing happens at the local level. I think part of that
Yeah,
is making it easy.
yeah, yeah, it is. And the larger your franchisee system is, I think the harder it is to make that happen at the local level. Well, harder and easier. Probably the easier you can create the assets and give them a playbook and give them, here are all the tools that you need, but probably the harder it is to really control what happens at the local level. Um, but then also, you may have more sophisticated franchisees that have a better infrastructure. And if you have multi-unit franchisees, that do have that kind of um, internal system, that have a marketing person that's specifically responsible for that, then yeah, that certainly helps when you get to that level. But there's very few brands that do that. Most of the franchise system, and that's what's great about franchising, is that it's a husband and a wife that have been school teachers or accountants, and now they want to be business owners, and they're doing it all. And yeah, you don't want them to be bogged down in having to design a flyer or create an email, things like that. So as a brand, you need to take that load off of them and let them go talk to their guests and hire their employees and do those day-to-day tasks in the restaurant.
Awesome. I'm going to start a conversation that I think Arun is going to finish, but um, we talk about CRM and localized marketing, and I know Arun is a huge advocate for personalization, segmentation. How do you think about CRM marketing at the local level? How do you think of how do you plan for personalization, segmentation, making sure that marketing is like CRM marketing is working at the store level?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do that. Obviously, the first way is to segment your list by location. That's the given.
And listen,
Um,
sometimes obvious is not obvious, but
yeah, yeah. I mean, it depends on how your data is set up. There's a lot of CRMs out there that don't allow you to choose a favorite location. So, when you're wanting to send a local email, how do you know which location to send it to? Is it just where you've purchased in the past? Um, that's the situation I've run into, where I have people that have emailed me and said, I've never visited this location. Why am I getting an email from this location in Cincinnati, Ohio? I've never been there. But then when I actually
Right.
looked into their purchase record, they actually went to Cincinnati, Ohio in 2017, and they had completely forgotten that they ever ate there. But they were on the list because they had eaten there once, and they were still in the CRM for that location. That is not an ideal situation for your local CRM, and you want to get those types of people out of your CRM. So if you can set it up that you have a favorite location and let the guest choose, then that certainly helps. Um, but then from there, you can segment it in all different ways. And the segmentation that you do at the local level would really not be that much different from how you would segment it at the brand level, depending on what your individual goal is. If you're trying to reach people based on their specific time of day that they're dining, or what channel that they're using, what menu item they're using, hopefully your CRM is set up in a way that you can dissect all of that information and then market specifically to them because of that. Um, I would hope that you would have those capabilities.
Julie, typically, have you seen the CRM marketing is handled by the brand, or the individual locations still do their CRM marketing? I understand the social media part of it, like that makes sense to have local marketing. But when it comes to CRM, which approach is better?
Oh, the brand level. If I went and talked to my franchisees, they probably wouldn't even really know what the CRM was, or
Got it.
like I said, "Hey, do you wanna do your CRM level marketing?" They'd be like, "Huh?"
They'd be
I
like,
don't
do
even
we
know
carry that
what that
SKU?
means.
Do we carry that
What, Rev?
SKU? I don't know what a CRM is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Got it.
so
Let's take that to a very specific use case. Okay, a store calls you and says, "Julie, we're struggling," or "We're down this week," or something happened," or like, "Can you help us?" Like, what do you do? Like, what's the Julie hit system? Like, how do you think about that? And then how would you use CRM to help in that scenario?
yeah, I mean, that definitely happens frequently. Um, well, the first thing, that we would do is kind of look and see, like, where's the pain point? Is it is there a specific channel that is down? Is it their off-premise sales that are suffering? Is it the dine-in numbers? Is it their catering that is off? Where's the specific pain point? It's not just, we're down, but what is it that makes the store down? And then you address that need specifically. If it's third party that's down, then you can address that through different levers. Like I was talking about earlier, there are some local store promotions that you can do to drive those top line sales in the third party channels. And then, if it's a first party issue, then you can definitely drive sales. Um, with the CRM part of it, I haven't worked at a brand that we had gotten the data part all figured out to the point. I mean, that was the North Star for us, that we were on the path and kind of on the cusp of getting that segmentation to the point where we were going to be able to do those really detailed, um, if online ordering was a big issue, then let's go back in and see, um, everybody that had not ordered online ordering in the past 60 days, send them an email or send them a text, and, give them some type of incentive to do so within the next 7 days. That would kind of be my first thought, to do that if you saw that that channel was suffering. The people that are already coming through, your online ordering channel, I would kind of ignore them, um, because they're already coming, if that's what you're looking to boost up. Same way if you're wanting dine-in sales, I would separate them out and maybe kind of do the same thing. So that's what I would do, is, try to diagnose it and then specifically hit that part of your CRM if you're trying to market specifically in that way.
So essentially, you would start with sort of like a lapsed guest or pre-lapsed guest and see if you can get them back in.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just lapsed guests, but see if you can just change that behavior and incentivize them to, hey, I've never ordered online, but here's a QR code that takes me straight to the website. So maybe I get free delivery or not free delivery, but I get $5 off this online order, three, depending on what your average ticket is, something like that to try to get them to order.
Yuri, yeah, since you just mentioned about incentivizing people, so one concern typically every brands will have is that at one point they don't want to be seen as a discounting brand, discount right, which brands, but at the same time, sometimes customers do need to be incentivized to change their habits or just to, for example, increase their frequency rates or increase their average order value. You need to have some sort of nudging in terms of incentivizers. How do you typically balance these two conflicting priorities?
Yeah, that's a interesting thought there because most of the brands that I've worked for have been very similar. They'd rather give away food than discount food. One of the things that you can do if you have a loyalty program is you can incentivize them with extra points, which, eventually, yes, that will come back to the bottom line as some type of discount. But if you have a way um, to put a short expiration on those points or, kind of manipulate that in some way, you can make that not as painful as it might be or dilute that in some way. Um, you know, uh, Rev and I were on a call the other day and he was like, one of the good, things you can always do is do a drawing for a gift card. That's a great tactic for brands that don't want to discount. If you do this, then you're registered for $300 gift cards or something like that to give some big incentive. You can do incentivize them with I don't know how many systems have this, but maybe early access to the next LTO, something like that. If your program would allow it. So there's other ways around that. You just have to be very creative, and it just depends on what your tech allows you to do.
Julie, will you say that from a consumer's point of view, direct discounting is still the greatest nudge from their point of view? It's like this, simply put, if does an average consumer will like, hey, here is your 20% discount on your next purchase versus I'm giving you 100 loyalty points. Do you think that consumers always prefer the direct monetary discount, or the
Yes, dollar amount works better than a percent
okay?
in
So in
in my
situations where you absolutely have to nudge them to change their behavior, you still the dollar value is still the greatest nudge. Okay.
mhm, it is. Yeah.
I think the airlines have it right. And so I kind of follow their model a lot. People will do anything to earn miles and they'll rarely use them. And I find that people will only use their miles when they feel like there's like a value trade, right? So, like, if the flight is cheap enough that the value of using the points doesn't make sense, let's buy another flight. And then they'll use it to get a beer on the flight or they use it to get free Wi Fi. And so for me, I look at it from a restaurant perspective. It's like, well, I'll give you as many points as you want because you're not going to use them anyway. However, I do think it's important to have the ability to use points for small things. So, like, can I get a free order of fries? Can I just add a drink on? Like I think people are sort of happy to chip away at them, and so I think about it that way. It's like points is a great way. Contests are a great way. You can earn somebody's attention without having to do a discount. You know what I mean? Anyway, we can go pretty deep on this. For sure. I think we've kind of barely just scratched the surface on this, and there's my doorbell. But we're kind of at the end of the show. And look, Julie, this has been incredible. You're always very good at sharing tactical guides for every facet of marketing. If for sure, local operators need some help. Franchise needs some help. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, and thank you for helping us build local playbook marketing frameworks here. We appreciate you being part of the show.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. So listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, can you please share this episode with a friend who might also find it helpful? And remember to give us a rating right now. I guarantee Julie would tell every local store they need to get more ratings. That helps us to spread the word to others who might find this valuable just like you do. Make sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast player so you don't miss another episode from us. Cheers.